Hi, everybody. Um, this is my post 4th of July video. I thought about doing something on the 4th of July, but that's not where I was. I was observing and wondering what to say, and I just wasn't feeling it. You know what I mean? But now I am, and I have to admit, for me, it felt like one of the most unpatriotic 4th of Julys that I ever felt. And I guess part of it was because we were all sealed at home and all the fireworks things were canceled. Not that I'm really into fireworks, I'm not, but I kind of like the sparkle in the sky, not the noise, but the sparkle. But for weeks ahead of time, the neighborhood, you could hear all these explosions going off from the local fireworks, and that had never happened before. And I kept wondering, why are all these people blowing off these things? And I'm sure, like so many of you can sense that there's a growing anger that's just bubbling up in the country. And it's feeling, I'm not the first to say that the country is feeling fractured, kind of like it did perhaps prior to the Civil War. There's not that any of us were there, but if you read history, the fracturing that was happening, the hostility, the anger that is evident everywhere. And it doesn't help that on top of the social unrest, we have this virus that is just spreading everywhere, and it doesn't show any signs of abating for the immediate future. So life is changing for us, and it is going to continue to change. And I always retreat to what I learned in my years as a medical intuitive, what I learned from us, what I learned about healing through working with us, because truly what is in one is in the whole. And how we operate in our micro earths is very much how we operate in the macro earth. And as I see the explosion of anger and the explosion of expression in the streets and in the society, it's identical to what happens when I'm dealing with a person who is going through a process of transformation, and the first stage of anger is that incredible release that needs to be expressed. It has to be expressed. It is that eruption that happens, and it's oftentimes during the eruption that a person wants to go back and try to change the past. They want to look for reasons why things happen as they did. They want to take the past and go up to the people that, find the people that hurt them, find the people that did this, and try and make it right. But what I've learned in healing is that if a person routes their healing process toward the past and decides that what it's going to take for me to heal is to go backwards and make everything that happened not happen, make everybody who hurt me own that they hurt me, and that's my task. And if I can do that, I will heal. Make everybody who's ever done anything to me, punish them. And I'll go back to the house where it all happened, and I'll tear that house down. I'll pull down the statuary around the house. I'll tear the house down, and I will punish the house, and I will just destroy everything that it represents. And then what? And then what? How will that change who you are today? How will that change anything? In the end, it will tell me how angry you are. And it will be an expression of how angry you are. But it won't help your healing. It won't change what happened to you. Nothing can change the past. Nothing can change the past. The only task ahead is this incredible journey of transformation that we are on. And nothing is going to stop that. Nothing is going to stop that. And that's the reality of this moment. Nothing is going to stop the fact that we are on an extraordinary journey of transforming this world in which we are living. And I have wondered, and I continue to wonder, if in fact the coming of this virus is a kind of simultaneous event that is happening with the social changes that have erupted, kind of a synchronistic perfect storm, if you want to call it a storm, or a synchronistic coming of forces that ensure that this transformation happen. That if it had just been social uprising, we've had that before, and it has calmed down and not much has happened. We've had virus, we've had the Ebola, and we've had other virus breakouts before, but that hasn't really changed a whole lot. It's just been sporadic. But you put these forces together, and then you add the economic part, and you have the ingredients that create a force that changes us, that is forcing us to go into a time of shifting the way we will live, and shifting us, changing the balance of power within us and around us. And it's going to take time. It will take this decade. This isn't going to change. We're very naive to think, oh, well, everything will be okay after the next election, hopefully. Or that, come spring or come summer. This isn't going to calm down that fast. Not if you sit back and just go inside yourself and recognize how much is changing in you from this. How much of what is changing within the world is presenting you with questions you have to think about. What's my world looking like? How do I proceed forward? Prior to this time, it was very common for people to wonder, what's the purpose of my life? What is the purpose of my life? But a deeper question to ask now, as I'll investigate, as I'll explore with everybody this week in my class, is the transformational question that now erupts within you is, what is the purpose of life? The my comes out of the sentence. The my comes out. that is an indication that your soul is beginning to talk to you. What's the purpose of life? What's going on here? You are no longer the object of the questions you ask. And that is a profound shift of where your inner intelligence compass is focusing. You're focusing more on, instead of me being the object of life, of how I measure the value of life, life serving me. What's the purpose of my life? Instead, I look from the point of view of what is the purpose of life, and how is it that what is my journey? How does my journey now fit in to this greater journey that is taking us all with it? Because it is obvious that this is the greater journey that I now need to fit into, instead of my life being dominating. I can't approach it that way anymore. And that is what transformation is about. Transforming the way we ask questions, the way we approach life itself. That in and of itself is the rich change. And I'm telling you that when you allow those different questions to navigate how you interpret the world around you, a different quality of guidance begins to come into you. A very different quality of guidance. It's like you're getting with the picture now. You're getting into the flow of how you shift with the world as it is changing. You're beginning to let the power of the moment speak to you. That this is about us understanding a very different theme in life that is unfolding. And yes, it's like life is this layer cake. It is this building metaphor that I use, that at the first floor, it is loud and chaotic, and it's going to go through reconstruction and all kinds of redesigning, and who knows, politically, financially, nation-wise, who knows what we will experience. But it's also because it's changing us. We're the engines of this. We're the ones getting transformed. It's obvious that the way we have done things is not going to be the way we will do things. It's obvious we're going to put education online. We're going to shift with the way we do business. We're going to all kinds of things. We are accommodating. Every day we're finding ways to accommodate this because we have to. Who knows how we'll accommodate socially and accommodate everything in the years to come. It never occurred to me that I wouldn't be able to go out and do my workshops person to person with you and hop on a plane and go to Europe. I should be in France right now teaching. I should be here and there, and I have to accommodate. And I find it intriguing. Okay, this is what I'll do this time, and this is what I'll do here, and this is what I'll do there. And I will go with accommodation, because our capacity to adapt is one of our greatest assets. And so we move into our skill to adapt. We adapt. And we adapt to what we have to do, because that's what life is. Life is the process of adapting and literally going with the flow and becoming more creative than we ever thought, and deciding what skills do I have to adapt to this, and finding ways of becoming part of what is the purpose of life. Life is a journey of the support of a system, not the support of one tree or one plant or one human being. but the support of a system. And we have reached the point where the system itself has weakened ecologically, socially, morally, vibrationally. Everything about the collective system of life has been fractured, and we're going to see it everywhere. Pardon that phone. And let me get rid of that phone. Apologize for that. I thought I took it off the hook, but you can ignore that. That never happens. But every single thing about our system of life has fractured. So it really shouldn't come as any surprise to any of us that this moment has happened, that this experience has happened, that we are returning to holism, because the whole thing of life is about moving toward health. What is life about? Life is about survival. Life is about becoming whole. Life is about not returning, but always maintaining a sense of balance. That is what life is about. Whether you look to yourself individually or you look to the whole, life is always about whole. And it's always about unity. And now those mystical laws, and they are the laws of the mystics, the mystical laws governing life, are really kicking in at the physical level. They're governing us. And honestly, I mean, this is why I did the Phoenix series. That if you look through these laws, you can see them operating now at every single level. The dictate, become whole, become whole. And if I could give you like a little pouch of jewels to hold on to when you wonder what's going on here or how to make a decision, pull out a jewel and say, the way I make the decision, is this going to fracture me in any way, or is it going to help me become whole? And if the way you're making a decision is going to fracture you in any way, you can't make that decision. The governing force now is the way you make decisions, even if they scare you to death, have got to increase your becoming a whole person, you becoming a balanced person, because that's the governing energy now. Become whole, become whole. No matter what you have to do, whether all the way down to how you choose your food, all the way down to how you eat, all the way down to how you speak to others, to what you say. If you think in a conversation, if what I have to offer in this conversation is going to fracture this person, it's going to fracture this family unit, then don't say it. Find something to say that helps the unit become more whole. And if it's hard for you to do that, then go and say, download some grace. Download me with some badass grace, because I am finding it difficult to be supportive of these people. Something in my heart. I'm holding on to anger. And then think about where that anger comes from. And you're going to go backwards. And you're going to want to witness some wound you have and say, look what you did to me. And because you did that to me, I can't help you right now. And think about, what good is that? What good is that? What good is that? And then turn your attention to the whole. And think about, if it's that difficult for you to heal anger in yourself, think about how angry all the society is. And I wonder I need to continue, but I'm going to say something here. For any of you who speak astrology, there are 6 planets that are retrograde, among them Mercury. And so all these things that are going crazy right now, like this video stopping in the middle and my phone going off, it's not my fault. Not my fault. It's the planets. So I was saying, when you look at the anger going on, think about when it's so difficult for each of us to release something. Imagine what it's like when the Pandora's lid comes off the history of a people, or the imbalance in a society that was born from a vision that promised freedom for everybody and doled it out so carefully based on a clever subplan of not wanting so many people to not have that freedom, to not have it. That if your skin was a different shade, or if you were the female sex, that in fact you couldn't quite manage the power of freedom, or it didn't suit the economic structure or the social hierarchy. And so it had to be kind of carefully managed. You could have this kind of freedom so long as it suited the economic dream of this structure. And so perpetrating that has been the background of so much. And if I may use astrology again, Pluto is the undercurrent, the underground planet that's located, if I understand it correctly, in much the same alignment as it was when the country was formed 2.5 centuries ago. And it's come to call, and it's erupting and bringing out all the hypocrisies. It's the great cleanse, the great transformation. And to that extent, it's awakened the rebels. It's kind of a repeat. But that means it's an opportunity for us to transform and maybe breathe life into the beautiful vision of what could be, of what could be, of what could be if we really did return to the truth that we were meant to be free, all of us, of what freedom really is, of what creativity is, of what a vision for freedom for all humankind is. That that kind of dignity could really exist. But it requires an extraordinary transformation, and it does begin with each of us. And anyway, that's why I initiated the Phoenix series. That's why I'm doing these. That's what I feel so dedicated to. Anyway. And to that I will say, as these days get more difficult, and when they do for you, I have so much faith in prayer. And I have to tell you, just talk to God. Just say, like, I need some grace. I need it now. And I don't care how you deliver it. I'm not fussy. Just get it here, and get it here fast. And just assume it's delivered. Just assume it's delivered, because it always is. It always is. And move toward holism. Keep that in your heart. Okay. Thank you, everybody.